All right, everyone. So, welcome to part three of this video, Viral for Parents, where we're sensitizing you on different social media platforms and the ways that you can help keep your children safe. So, now we're going to jump into some discussion questions or points to consider. And the first question is, why is social media able to capture the attention of children and youths? I would encourage you to pause this video and you can discuss it with anyone that you may be watching it with. You could discuss it with your friends, your family members, your colleagues, co-workers, anyone at all. Please feel free to discuss it. And when you are finished discussing and you've written down some reasons that you think social media can capture the attention of children and youths, you can then play the video again and see what we have offered as possible explanations for this. So you can proceed to jot down your answers or your responses now. So here are some of the reasons for social media's hold on children. Number one, COVID-19 has halted their usual way of life and they are finding easy ways to cope or to distract themselves. Quite frankly, children, they are humans and they are going to be experiencing a lot of emotions during this time. They don't have the autonomy to make decisions for themselves, and quite often the feelings of the child in relation to the pandemic is often forgotten because parents are usually so busy dealing with the other things, like making sure that they men keep their job, making sure that there's food in the house or food on the table for the children to eat, to make sure that everything is running smoothly, all things considered. So COVID-19 has halted their way of life, and while parents are so busy dealing with the day-to-day stressors, children have to find ways to occupy themselves, and sometimes social media is their companion. It also captures their attention, social media that is, because of boredom at home. There, maybe the parents in the household are too busy to engage the child. Maybe the child has a difficult temperament where they like what they like and they have probably become addicted to social media because they may have been using it for quite some time. But children tend to often go on these platforms because they are bored. And the thing is, social media at the very least provides you with different things to look at. You could see what your friends post, you could see what games they've been playing, you could look at videos, you could watch the news. You have many options on the different social media platforms. A lack of supervision could also contribute to social media's hold on children because children feel sometimes that they are being overlooked or that their parents are not giving them enough attention. So we will discuss the supervision and attention in one because they feel like there's that deficit or there's that lack in the attention and supervision that they're receiving from their parents. They often tend to go to a platform because they feel like if the platform is there for them, the words and the way that the social media apps are marketed also gives the sense that the platform is not just a website that you go onto, but it's also a companion or a friend. Because Facebook will tell you things like what's on your mind. That's how you update your status. It seems very personal. It seems almost like an interaction that you're having with another human being. They would ask you, so what's your story? What's going on today? Children interpret these things as, wow, somebody wants to hear what I have to say. And because parents are not giving them that attention, that listening ear, and because parents are not also checking to see what they're doing, children now feel free to roam the platforms and do what they want. Sometimes it's because of peer pressure. So let's say in their online classrooms, when they have break time or lunch time or recess and so on, other children tend to be talking about the videos that they're seeing or what's popular on the platform that they're most interested in. If there's a child who is not on the platform and they're hearing all of their friends talking about the video, it's going to result in a feeling of being excluded. And to combat that feeling, what they're going to want to do is to join the platform so that they will now be in the know about what it is their friends are talking about. At the end of the day, children want to fit in and they want to be accepted. They want to be part of the in group. And whenever things happen in their day-to-day interactions with their friends that separates them from their friends, in the sense that you're talking to your friends but you have no idea what they're talking about because you're not on the platform, so you're with them but you're separated in a sense. It makes the person feel inclined to join the platform. Then you have the fact that every youth wants to become famous, and we're using every very loosely here because not all children want to be famous or want to have that online popularity, but many children do, and at the very least, many children want their voices to be heard. So every youth now, as I said, TikTok is like karaoke for the digital age. So children nowadays get an opportunity to showcase their talents through song, through dance, through poetry, through the photos that they take. So the photography, some of them pretend to be models, and through this they get recognition, and the recognition makes them feel satisfied. It makes them feel happy. It contributes to a boost in their self-esteem. So this is another reason why the platform will have a hole, as well as children and youth may feel liberated because they know that parents and guardians don't know how to use the app. And because they know that you don't know how to venture into these virtual neighborhoods, the children virtually feel like if they can do anything that they want to do because there's no parental supervision. So this is why it's important again for parents to understand and to know why children are doing the things that they're doing, and for them to go on the platforms where they are, because being there in itself takes away from the idea that the child could do whatever they want to do without being caught or without experiencing any repercussions. Now, what are these perceived benefits of social media? And again, I encourage you to pause the video, jot down some of your points, or discuss with those who are nearby before you continue to see what we have offered as possible explanations. So, some of the benefits of social media. Number one, you can develop better social skills. Of course, this social media can be a double-edged sword in the sense that sometimes it reduces the amount of time that children spend interacting with each other face to face, but then COVID-19 has also put a spoke in that particular wheel. So they are still able to socialize and interact with their friends and develop written or online etiquette. They feel less isolated. The pandemic has made persons stay at home. It has resulted in schools closing, leisurely activities has been halted to some extent. And with this could come a feeling of isolation or even cabin fever, where people are trapped in their homes for a long time. Yes, adults may often be able to come out for work or they may have to go to the grocery store to get essentials, but children often they remain at home and they feel isolated, they feel alone. So, social media helps with that. It also is an opportunity for them to learn new cultural and societal ideas and issues because all of the news channels, CCTV, CNN, TTT New, who everyone is on social media, and usually they post updates to their social media accounts regularly. So again, even though they're scrolling through looking for dance videos or entertainment videos, they still will find information that is relevant to the activities that they are engaging in on a daily basis. Also, they get to bond with their friends, so they still get to develop that level of communication and they have fun when they're on social media. This is why it becomes so addictive because social media can be fun. There are games that you could play, that you could link with other people. You could play games with people who are on the other side of the world. You can develop different posts. There are so many things that you could do on social media, all depending on the platform that you choose to operate on. It also gives you an opportunity to be creative and to share your own ideas with friends. And the thing is, social media is there for children all day, all night, every day, and every night. And this, to some extent, could be why children are moving away from going to their parents, because social media, like I said, is literally there all the time. All you have to do is know what you want to do. You want to post a status, Facebook wants to know what's on your mind. You want to share a story, Instagram is ready to share it, and they will link it to your Facebook account so that your friends get to see it. So, social media being there for them constantly, and may I add, sometimes parents are not there for the child as often. So, because of that, the child develops an attachment for social media instead of for the parent, which of course brings us to some of the dangers where you will now end up spending too much time online and you become disconnected from the real world because you're so constantly in the phone. I always see videos online about people walking in public on their phone and they walk into things. They've been bounced down, they bump into signs, they trip, they fall, all sorts of things happen because they spend too much time online. It takes up their focus entirely and they're not able to stay true to what's happening in the moment. They also can become the victim of online bullying, which was discussed heavily in video number 1 for children and for parents. They can also cause damage to your online reputation, being on social media too much. Because when you post things that are inappropriate, it can be screenshotted, it can be downloaded, it can be saved by other persons, and ultimately, it means that you no longer have control over the content that you were exposed to or that you were sharing. Yes, so other people now are in control of it, and this could haunt you in years to come. Let's say if you're applying for a particular job or if you are trying to live a particular lifestyle, one that is conservative or one that is discreet, but other people now have saved that embarrassing photo that you posted from a party or that inappropriate picture that you took when you were on vacation, you know? So having your personal information shared online is another danger because there are online stalkers, online groomers, there are cyber bullies and so on, people who want to get your information and want to use it against you. Also being harassed or annoyed by someone that you don't want the attention from. You could also become the victim of an online scam like hacking or phishing or social engineering. And for many teenagers, they experience lowered self esteem. This happens because they constantly engage in social comparison, usually upward comparison, where people who are posting all the nice things, going on the trips, going on the vacations, you see the nice furniture in their homes and so on, children then start to feel a depleted sense of self because they now feel insignificant when compared to their counterparts. So they see things online, and because they want it and they may not be able to get it, it could also encourage them to lead a life of crime. It could encourage them to disobey their parents or their guardians. So there are a number of spin off effects that could happen because of jealousy or damage to your self esteem. But fortunately, there are techniques for monitoring or for reducing social media and online activity. And some of the things that can be done, again, you could pause the video and come up with your own. Get familiar with the social media platforms that your children use. By simply getting familiar with the platform, the child is going to lose that false sense of security that the content or that the platform that they're on is exclusive to children and that they can do whatever they want. We want them to know that no matter where they go, whether it is in the real world or in the virtual world, they are monitored by their parents. Right? So get familiar with the social media platforms. Also, even though you may be on the platform, your child, through their privacy settings, could block you or hide certain posts from you. Please ensure that you have access to their pages because this is the only way, as a parent, that you're going to be able to monitor them. You can also review their privacy settings because they may block you, and also do a screen audit with your family. A screen audit is simply a process of examining our relationship to screens. So, how much TV do you watch per day? How much time do you spend on the computer for study or for work purposes? How much time do you spend on mobile devices each day? How much leisure time do you spend online versus offline? That kind of thing. So, once you have numbers or figures or data to answer these questions, it now puts into perspective how much time you really spent online, and it can indicate for you areas for improvement or areas that could remain the same. You also want to make the real world exciting again as a parent, because as children, you would have, when you were feeding them, you would have done the motorboat, and you would have then done aeroplane things, and you would sing with them and dance with them and enjoy yourselves with them. But as time has gone by and they've gotten older, we make the real world seem far more dreary. We make it seem so frustrating and tiring as adults that we don't ever want to bring out that childlike side and make the world exciting for them again. We have to find a way to get them to be interested in coming off of the phone. Because why come off the phone if there's nothing interesting for me to do? So we have to make the real world exciting for them. Spend quality time with your children. And if you don't know what are activities that you can do, maybe while you all are cooking together, maybe you all are eating together, you can teach them a skill, or you all can learn something together. So you all can learn a different language. You all can play an instrument. You all can learn to cut hair or maybe even do nails. And YouTube videos are very effective. You can engage in gardening, do an online course, exercise together. There are many things that you can do to bond. And when you're doing these other things, even though you may be using the guide of online videos and so on, you will still be interacting with them in the real world. They'll be using the platform for something constructive. So you may be wondering, does TikTok and by extension the other platforms have parental controls? Yes, they do. Right? TikTok can allow parents to set time limits to filter mature content and even disable direct messaging for children's accounts. You can enable time limits and the content filter on your child's phone and protect the settings with a passcode. But to disable direct messaging, you need to use the app's family pairing feature. Family pairing also gives you access to time limits and content filter settings, but you will need your child's phone to sync the settings. So essentially, what is the time management feature? It's basically where users can set a maximum number of hours or period of time on the app per day, and you can limit it to, like, let's say 40 minutes. So once you enable this on your child's phone and you include a passcode, once they go on the app and they spend a certain period of time on the app, it is going to cut off. You also have restricted mode, which is going to block mature content. But even with this filter on, children using the app on their own might come across age inappropriate videos because of the people that they may follow or the profiles they may be linked to. So again, you have to check the settings and lock it with a passcode as you go through. So if you know there is a page that is inappropriate or a profile that is inappropriate, ensure that your child is not linked to that particular page. Now, to set up the family pairing, which I mentioned, you can manage the different forms of messaging. So you have to download TikTok onto your phone and create an account. Then make sure that you have your child's phone and their TikTok login handy, because you will need both. Family pairing. So on both phones, you want to tap the three dots next to the user profile. So you'll see three dots, you tap it, very similar to Facebook. And once you tap the family pairing, you click sync your account to your child's phone via the QR code scanner. So you would have to download a QR scanner from the Google Store or the Apple Store, or your phone may have one already installed on it. You would have to check the settings. And once you do that, you now essentially get linked to your child's phone and you can monitor their activity through your phone. Of course, there are many more features, there are many more activities, there are many more apps and so on that persons can use to monitor and protect their children. But of course, it depends on the type of phone that you have. The type of device that your child has as well, and of course your own parenting rules in terms of how you choose to go about monitoring and your children and their online activity use. So with that being said, it brings us to the end of this presentation. Always remember that ChildLine is there to support in any way possible. 800-4321 for our helpline, or 131. It is is free to get in contact with us. And of course, I again want to encourage you to download the My ChildLine app by going to the Google Play Store or the Apple Store and searching My ChildLine app and downloading. It's available in 3 languages and it is free. Through the app, you could use the web chat feature, you could contact the helpline, you can request counseling, there are games, there's also a nice description of child rights, there's a diary with a locking feature and so on. So there are many things. There's a mental health corner that you could go to. So download the app and use it as much as possible. Thank you all very much for your time, for being a part of this session and watching this video. And I do hope it was enlightening for you all. Do enjoy the rest of your day.